All right, now we're going to take a look at the LordSkunk.com top 10 list of the week. This is sponsored by Loot Crate. Get 10% off from Lord Skunk at lordskunk.com/Loot Crate. That's going to make a great Christmas gift. I'm excited to get mine. I know Remon's going to be getting me one. I think Ras getting me a subscription to Loot Crate as well. So I'll have multiple Loot Crates coming. I'm excited to get those, open those every month. So let's take a look here. Now, we did bring in Malya Bean, who is our top 10 writer, our top 10 guru. So I'm going to read these, and he can kind of translate for us once we're done. So here's the notes this week. Your collection of ships is slowly growing, and you're starting to climb the ranks of your ship arena shard. How can you deploy your ships most effectively to dominate your opponents and get that top payout? It's all about where you put your ships and how they work together. So coming in at number 10 for this week's top 10, which is the top 10 ship synergies, is Wedge Antilles X-Wing and Jedi Counselor Starfighter. Wedge has a high damage basic attack and gains 25% turn meter when attacking out of turn. Jedi Counselor is the only targetable assist attack currently in the game. Pick Wedge and you'll be rewarded with some solid damage. Malya Bean, your thoughts?
So this is a nice one you get early in the game, both Jedi Counselor and Wedge. Turn meter and 80% increased crit damage is about as cut and dry a synergy as you can find. It's only limited by the fact that Wedge's other utility is a little bit low, and that's why he's lower on the list.
All right. Coming in at number 9, Geonosian Soldier, Sun, Fac, and Geonosian Spies, Starfighter. Geonosian Soldier has a 50% chance to assist on any Separatist attack and gives evasion down if his crew ability assist attack chooses a Separatist assisting ship. If you combine these additional assist attacks with Akbar plus 40% crit damage buff, you can easily make up for the ship's slow speed. And also, just as a quick side note, if General Grievous comes in, will he be a Separatist if he becomes a pilot?
He could be. So this is a synergy begging for a capital ship. I don't think Grievous, which is a difficult and long farm, will probably be that capital ship commander. But as soon as a good capital ship separatist with some speed pops in, I think this trio could do really well. Even without them, all three of those are very dynamic together and can do a lot of damage. And their limitation is speed. They're three of the slowest ships in the game at maximum gear, but still all are good investments.
Yeah, and the other two possibilities could be Newt Gunray or Count Dooku for that fleet commander.
Get your Newt Gunray shards going.
Yep.
Get them going.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Talon.
Hard farm Newt Gunray.
Talon called
I'm
it.
so glad he is ready to
maybe Grand Admiral Thrawn makes an appearance.
Could
Well,
be.
then they'd have to start using that Rebels show. So there's a lot of stuff they could get out of there.
All right, coming at number 8. McLeod's excited about this one. Clone Sergeant's Arc 170, Rex's Arc 170. How do they both have 170s? They both have 170s? I thought they...
Same ship, yeah, different pilot.
Wow. Okay, so just different colors. Okay.
Yeah.
This pair won't burst through a beefy tank with explosive damage. This synergy is based on making you time out of your ship battle against them. This actually happened to me the other day. Rex provides protection regeneration on a shortened cooldown and tenacity, and team-wide protection regeneration with resist when combined with a Republic ally. Clone Sergeant solid damage and own protection regeneration means this pair will never die. Now, I got to put a little asterisk next to that. Now, they do have a chance to die, okay? So we'll get 100 comments, hate comments in this video if they were like, my Clone Sergeant died in a battle. Okay, so we got to put an asterisk on that. So they could potentially die. They just have a high chance of not dying. Okay?
They can die, but it's going to take a long time. And if you have a team that is trying to dot them up, and Rex is giving both tenacity and team-wide protection regeneration, it's just going to be a grind. That's why this synergy is more of a defensive synergy that is that's not quite ready for prime time and sort of bursting through, but can really annoy you when you're trying to climb the ladder.
It's a good thing. So when you go to bed at night, make sure you stick these two characters in. Make sure they're in there together.
That's right.
All right, number 7, Imperial TIE Fighter and Tarkin's Executrix. So close to being dominant if the Empire had more options. This Empire duo thrives on the turn meter that TIE Fighter generates for Tarkin with every evade. Every little dodge and weave gives Tarkin a 30% bump in turn meter. Bring on the TIE Swarm.
Yeah, so what's neat about that TIE Fighter is if you're attacking it, it seems to dodge about 90% of the time. It's like the old Ben dodge buff. And every time it dodges, especially the Executrix, gets huge turn meter gain. And at some point, that combination is going to be absolutely deadly. Again, not quite ready for prime time just with those 2 ships, but a really dominant trend.
Also, he gains foresight after using his special attack. So, I mean, you got a free turn meter hit right there.
Is there any synergy benefit between since you have it, Malia, the TIE Advanced and the Executrix?
I wonder.
All right,
See.
coming in at number 6, Biggs Darklighter X-Wing and Akbar's Home 1. Akbar grants advantage to reinforcements, and Biggs' basic attack inflicts target lock on critical hit, and in doing so, grants taunt. Biggs' crew attack grants assist when the enemy has target lock, so the second attack will benefit from Akbar's bonus, plus 80% crit damage to assist as well. And one thing I want to point out to a lot of people that are probably watching this, you're going into your ship battles, and believe me, 90% of us that play this game, which is a lot of people, are straight up noobs when it comes to, I mean, it's all new. These are different synergies and different abilities and different powers, and we're going into these arenas. We got a time limit, so don't feel bad if you don't know a lot of this stuff, because I'm learning a lot myself just reading this. Thank you to Melly Bean for doing the homework on this. So this is good stuff. So if you're wondering why certain team comps are crushing you, this guide is going to help you a ton. So what are your thoughts on this one, Malia?
So this is a huge one. Whenever you're pulling in a reinforcement, you're facing an AI that's been spreading damage across your team. So you may have a bunch of guys that are awfully close to dying. If you pull Biggs in as a reinforcement with an Akbar lead, you're guaranteeing target lock on that first target and guaranteeing a taunt. And sometimes just getting a taunt gets you to back off enough to get an Akbar heal, back off enough to thin down the opposition a little bit. So this can be a very powerful reinforcement. And that synergy of both increased damage and guaranteeing a target lock and tank, and taunt rather, can be just enough to push you over the top. So this is a good one.
All right, coming in at number 5, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1 and Mace Windu's Endurance. Target lock adds additional targets and decreases the cooldown on Mace's massive AoE attack. Vader's basic grants 100% target lock, and his unique means that those target locks never expire. Time to spam that huge AoE damage.
So the biggest problem with Mace, amongst many problems, is that his AoE damage is based off target locking everything. And most ships, there are only a few ships that are reliable target lockers. So if you include Vader's ability to never have any target lock ever expire, and Mace's AoE, which hits additional targets that have that target lock debuff, you can essentially spam that AoE and start to do some pretty sizable damage. Pretty much the only way to make Mace Windu's capital ship a top-end PvP type team is by adding Vader in to try to spam that AoE.
Very good. And if you're curious to know about all the characters that do target lock and how target lock works, make sure you check out the Ultimate Ships Guide written by Mage Ducky from Team Skunk, which is a really cool guide. You can find that on lordskunk.com/ships. All kinds of great info there. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of
that is
great
the
stuff.
Best guide in the galaxy for ships. There's no doubt about that. That is about as in-depth and thorough and interesting as you'll read about this expansion.
Yeah, and you can find all the guides for AAT, ships, everything else over at lordskunk.com/guides. So make sure you check that out. Tons of resources there. What you got, Remont?
I was just going to say hats off to Mage Ducky for putting that together.
Yeah, it was a really cool guide there. And I think he's going to be doing some updates here shortly. Okay, coming at number 4, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1 and Grand Moff Tarkin's Executrix. Negative debuffs and target lock gives massive bonuses and even stuns to Tarkin's abilities and fleet buffs. Vader gives negative buffs with every attack. His basic grants 100% target lock and dots on target locked enemies. Dots are damage over time for you non-MMO people out there.
There's a WoW reference there.
Yeah. His unique means those target locks never expire, and his crew attack gives evasion down and ability block. That is a ton of damage.
So Tarkin is borderline unusable without Vader, but when you add Vader in, you can start to get that dot-heavy attack that will massively increase Empire damage. If you include the Imperial TIE Fighter in with that, you can get turn meter and all the benefits you got from that lower synergy. So this is a very dynamic option if you're lucky enough to grind away at that Vader ship and get something that's usable. And as Riemann asked, this is the synergy that Tarkin needs to start to be able to crack some high end damage numbers.
Nice. So now we're getting into our top 3. So good so far. Lots of great information. Lots of good synergies here. I'm excited to see the top 3. So coming in at number 3, Millennium Falcon Episode 7 and Mace Windu's Endurance. Mace's special ability gives taunt, protection recovery, and crit hit immunity for 2 turns, and the Falcon's unique grants a stacking 9% turn meter and 3% offense every time it is stacked. Get ready to bring the pain whenever the Falcon is made widely available. Now, I'm going to address this right now, okay? People are going to say the last video we did last week during the live show, the top 10, we made a comment about to hold off on Millennium Falcon. Now they're going to say, well, you put it in your top 3. Okay, this is if you have the Millennium Falcon. Okay, these are 2 different lists, so keep that in mind. We got a lot of flack, a lot of hate, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I love it, for the top 10 worst characters to farm and then the top 10 best characters to gear, because we had General Grievous as number 1 on the worst to farm and then on the list of to gear. So these are 2 different scenarios, 2 different things. If you already have the Millennium Falcon and you already have Mace Windu Endurance, this is a great ship synergy. If you don't have Millennium Falcon, or you don't have enough Millennium Falcon shards to really take it to the next level, you're not fully investing. Keep that in mind. Malia, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so this is clearly a theoretical synergy rather than anything almost any of us can see. Millennium Falcon is a terrible farm. It's not a terrible ship. The 5 ship and the Biston's U-Wing, not terrible ships, just terrible farms. And so they're sort of different things. The Millennium Falcon here is a very good, very high damage ship, and it's augmented and improved even better by all the stuff that Mace's endurance can do. So at some point in the future, when the Millennium Falcon doesn't cost $25,000 to acquire, or whatever it costs, it will be a very powerful combination. Not for now, but it's still a synergy. And if you see it, I would run.
And just remember, if you spend that $25 grand to get the Millennium Falcon, you also get probably a 7-star Bistan, at least 6-star Bistan.
Probably.
So that's your consolation prize.
You can feel happy as you bike to work.
Yeah, for putting that second mortgage on your house, you will get
That's
Bistan,
right.
probably at 7 stars, guaranteed 6 for sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, coming at number 2, Sunfac's Geonosian Starfighter and Darth Maul's Scimitar. Maul's crew ability grants retribution and protection up to a target, and Sunfac's basic attack grants target lock when he attacks out of turn. That is a lot of target lock, and target lock is key, right, Malia?
Target lock is the most important debuff in ship squad arena, and it's not something that can be applied very effectively by many things. So if you find a combination like this, where you're just spamming target lock on everything that attacks that Sunfac ship, then you can have a very high damage output following it. The nice part about Sunfac, greatly reduced damage when he has taunt. He auto taunts anytime any attacker has a buff. And so if you put that retribution on something else, you'll oftentimes see the enemy targeting your Sunfac instead. So this is a really nice combination to try to get target lock out even early. You could have Scimitar in your starting rotation and get Sunfac with retribution early, or you could wait till later to try to push the tide of battle. This is a really fun synergy that you don't see a lot of, and I think can be very dynamic later in the game.
Well, something that's very important, too, that a lot of people might not quite get is that this is a deck-based game. I mean, just like those card games, or Hearthstone, or what are the other, Yu-Gi-Oh! and Magic the Gathering, all these other card games that are out there or been out there over the years. This is just basically a video game version of those. You're building a deck. You got reserves. How you use your starting deck and how you use your reserves is key. To win these battles. So if you're going into these arena battles and you're getting mopped up by your opponents, and you have similar power, maybe even higher power, it's going to come down to those ship synergies and how they build those decks. So it's very important to take note of these different ship synergies and make sure you build your ship deck, your fleet deck, accordingly. All right, and now, drum roll please, the number 1 ship synergy in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is Darth Maul Scimitar and Geonosian Spy Starfighter. Maul's crew ability grants stealth to all but one ally and grants 32.5% offense to stealth allies. Geonosian Spy's crew ability calls all stealth allies to assist if the enemy has target lock. Just find the right target and enjoy the massive damage.
Yeah, this is a little bit like that Sherpa attack when you can see all those Ewoks fly over and hit someone in the face, or when you have I'm a Gundai and Retribution on everything. You do massive damage to a single target that's target locked. Now, the AI will never set this up correctly. It's kind of a pain to set up, much like most of Geonosian Spy's kit. But when it works, it is a whole lot of fun, and you'll just blast away at whatever's in front of you. So it's the most fun synergy, the most powerful synergy, probably not the most useful synergy when it comes to AI, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you're going to be climbing up towards the leaderboards, if you're getting close to your payout, you definitely want these two in there together. Just make sure you do a little work. Don't auto this team, for sure.
No, and remember, Akbar, that's Akbar's bonus. Things attacking out of turn, 40% increased crit damage, 80% if they're the right squad, and they all get protection advantage also. So this can be very dynamic with an Akbar lead.
Very good. Very good. So let's see here. Final thoughts for the week for the top 10 ship synergies. Well, I said that one 10 times fast. The most powerful damage modifier in the game is Admiral Akbar's offensive and defensive buff to assisting attacks. It may not be a synergy, but it is an amazing buff and one you should not forget when crafting your team. So any final thoughts, guys, on the ship synergies? Anything that you want to add or that we missed? Or any questions? We got Malyabeen himself here to answer.
What do you think is a good synergy with Poe?
So Poe is interesting because Poe does massive damage later in a match, worn through some protection. He is fantastic against TIE Fighter pilot. Later in a match, TIE Fighter pilot has no inherent protection. The problem with Poe is his first move, when he has advantage from Akbar, is a self-buff move. And so it delays things a little bit. And so if you are facing a squad with better ship power, you may run into a little bit of difficulty. But Poe is great at the start with massive damage as a reinforcement. But, there are a bunch of ships like Slave One doesn't have synergy. It's a good ship. It does massive damage. Poe is in the same sort of place. Massive damage, not a lot of synergy, but can be stuck almost everywhere.
So would you start Poe or would you put him as a reinforcement?
It depends. If you have a really good FOTP and a really good Geonosian soldier and JC, I probably would keep him on the bench. If you don't have one of those things, you may want to start him.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, this is another TeamSkunk.com presentation brought to you by Mac at Media Artist Collective and sponsored by Loot Crate. Get 10% off from Lord Skunk at lordskunk.com/Loot Crate. And you can feel free, PM me, and I'll send you my address where you can send me the Loot Crate for Christmas. I really appreciate that. All right, so cool. So that was our top 10 for the week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, heavy on the ship stuff lately. That's been tons of questions we've been getting regarding ships and people trying to figure this stuff out. So thank you to Malyabeen and all the people that participated in putting this top 10 list together.